Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
It's our TOEIC unit for the month of October, and today we're talking about stray dogs, okay? Sometimes people are concerned about stray dogs, and they try to help them out. A lot of times, of course, these stray dogs or stray cats or whatever end up at what is called a shelter. And today we've got a conversation between Ms. Lynn, and she found a dog, and she's trying to take it to a shelter or trying to find a home for it. Isn't she nice?
She sounds pretty nice, yeah. I know several people in my life that love animals, and they're always trying to rescue animals. My sister has a house full of lots of different kinds of animals that they've either rescued or their neighbors didn't want anymore, so they took them. She's got 4 young kids, so it's more fun there. We're going to talk about what happens at the vet. She takes the dog to the veterinarian hospital or clinic where she is, and then we're going to talk about some useful expressions. How do we ask about different companies' services? These are some good phrases to learn. But first, guys, we're going to read through day 1.
Helping a hurt pup.
Hi, I found this dog near the park. He's limping and seems injured.
Let me take a quick look. Do you know if he belongs to anyone?
I'm not sure. He wasn't wearing a collar, and I didn't find any identification. I checked online for lost dog posts, but found nothing.
His left hind leg is swollen. It looks like a sprain, but luckily there's no sign of a fracture. He'll need rest and mild treatment.
Should he get vaccinated? Could he have anything contagious?
Yes, vaccines are part of the standard procedure for stray animals. I just scanned him to see if he has a microchip, but unfortunately he doesn't have one.
What kind of health checks does he need?
I recommend a full exam. That includes tests for heartworm and parasites and initial vaccinations.
How much would that cost? I'm willing to cover the expenses.
The basic checkup and treatment will cost around 3,000 NT dollars. We can also help you get in touch with a local rescue group.
That would be great. Thank you. I don't mind fostering him for a while.
Thank you for being so compassionate. People like you make a real difference in the lives of stray animals. Okay, everybody, it's time to discuss the conversation we just heard here. It's a conversation between Ms. Lin and Dr. Zhang. Dr. Zhang is the veterinarian working at a veterinary clinic, and Ms. Lin is just 一般的老百姓, a normal citizen, a good citizen in society here, and she's trying to help a hurt pup. Here, pup is short for puppy. We usually refer to young dogs as puppies if they're between 0 and 1 years old. 1 year old, we call them puppies. You could say pup as well, but puppy is more common.
It's kind of cute, though, and you might hear pup, so it's good to learn it and be able to recognize it if you hear it. You don't have to use it yourself, but it's good to recognize it. She found a dog near the park. So she was probably out exercising, maybe riding her bike. Maybe she was just walking home from work. We don't know. But he's limping, and he looks injured, or he seems injured. Yeah, if a dog is limping, it definitely is in some pain. We don't know why. It could be a very small issue or a large problem. We don't know. So if you limp, it just means you're walking unevenly. You're usually favoring or putting most of your weight on one side or one leg, so it hurts less. The limb or foot or leg that you've injured, you don't want to put weight on it because it makes it hurt more.
Yeah, I've got a bad knee, and sometimes I'm limping around, or I have to limp if it's going bad. Most of the time it's okay, but if I stretch it a certain way, then I may injure it, and then I have to limp for a couple of days or whatever. But here, Ms. Lin saw a dog in the park, and the dog is limping, and the dog seems injured. Now, remember, everybody, if you know the gender of an animal, you say he or she, okay? I know here they teach you an animal is it, you know. you only say that when you don't really know for sure the gender of the animal, but people figure that out pretty quickly, so you would refer to the dog as a he or a she most of the time. And Dr. Zhang says, let me take a quick look at this dog. Do you know if he belongs to anyone? So yeah, does anybody own this dog? Is it somebody's dog that just got away or ran loose or whatever? Do you know who the owner is?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting you were talking about how in Taiwan we get a lot of people calling animals it. But we don't. We love animals, and as soon as you find out what they are, it's always a he or she. That's just because we consider our pets to be part of the family. Even if we don't know the animal or it's a stray, we'll try to figure out quickly if it's a guy or a girl, and we call it a he or a she. So the doctor, of course, is used to doing this sort of thing. He wants to take a look, wants to know if it belongs to anyone. If you have a pet, you'll want to get a dog collar or a cat collar. It's just like a circular neck strap that you put on your animal, and you want to add their name, your phone number, or at least a place where someone can contact you.
That would be a dog tag.
Yeah. So it's pretty important to put a collar on your animal if you can. But the doctor, or Ms. Lin at least, didn't see any identification on that animal. So she doesn't know who the animal belongs to or what the animal's name is. Identification is something that tells people who you are. For people, we have cards that have our name, our social security, our birth date. For Tom and I, it would say what country we're from. Your passport is a type of identification. Your 身份证 is also a different type of identification. But she couldn't find anything on the animal. He wasn't wearing a collar, darn it. So she then went even further and checked online. This is a good lady. She wanted to see if she could find any lost dog posts, but found nothing. If you lose your animal, sometimes people will put a flyer up around the neighborhood with a picture of their animal, and it'll say, if you find this cat or you find this dog, please call this number. She was looking for people who posted on social media. If you post on Facebook, Instagram, Line, any of the social media platforms, we call that a post, and it can be a noun or a verb.
Indeed. So somebody probably put a post on Facebook. Well, at least she was looking for somebody who put a post on Facebook, but she didn't find anything. So she knows the dog is probably a stray dog. And Dr. Zhang, the veterinarian, examines the dog and he says, his left hind leg is swollen. So dogs have legs in the front and legs in the back. So the ones in the front are their forelegs, F-O-R-E, and the ones in the back are their hind legs, H-I-N-D. So one of his legs in the back is swollen, which means it's kind of big because there's probably an injury inside. It looks like a sprain, but luckily there's no sign of a fracture. Now, when you hurt your foot or your ankle or your wrist or whatever, and you just kind of pull the tendons, things like that, but nothing really breaks, but still it kind of hurts and it's going to be sore for a while, that is a sprain. Oh, I sprained my ankle when I was running after the bus. And, of course, my ankle swelled up, but there was no broken bone in there. And when you have a broken bone, or if you break the tendons, I suppose, that would be called a fracture. I guess a fracture is the bone being broken or it has cracks in it.
Yeah, so the dog will need rest and mild treatment. Mild can mean different things. Sometimes we use it for the weather. If the weather is mild on a particular day, it's not hot, it's not cold, it's just right. It's kind of gentle. It's not severe weather. It's not strong. Maybe you're eating some sort of hot sauce. It could be a mild sauce, which means it's not too spicy. Most people can eat it. So this is mild treatment. He's not going to do surgery on the dog or, put a cast on the dog. It's going to be pretty mild treatment to help him recover. She wants to know if he should get vaccinated or shot up with some medicine. And she asks, could he have anything contagious?
Contagious. That's something that can spread from one person to another, like COVID-19, of course. That was highly contagious.
Colds can be contagious.
Colds can be contagious.
Flu.
Cancer is not contagious,
No.
though. That's something you get on your own, or diabetes and things. Those are not contagious. But yeah, a cold or COVID or whatever, or SARS or whatever, those are all contagious diseases. And yeah, does the dog have any contagious diseases? Like, I guess, are rabies contagious? I'm not quite sure, but in any case.
Well, if the dog bites you, yes.
Okay, that way it would be contagious, right? It can spread. And Dr. Zhang says, well, yes, vaccines are part of the standard procedure for stray animals. I've been using that word all throughout our explanation here, but stray just refers to an animal that doesn't have a home and it's just wandering around. Okay, you would not call a homeless person a stray. A stray is used specifically for animals. A homeless person could be called a transient, for example, or we just simply say a homeless person. But here, these are stray animals. And what did he say about them? Vaccines are part of the procedure for stray animals. We have to give them shots.
Yeah, standard procedure or standard operating procedure. Sometimes if you work in business, you'll hear people talk about SOP. What's an SOP? Standard operating procedure. What do we do in our company for this particular situation? Now, this doctor wants to scan him, or he just scanned him. He's already done it, to see if he has a microchip inside. But unfortunately, he doesn't have one. Some people who have pets get their pets microchipped, which means they have a little piece of technology. It's a chip put inside their skin that they can't get rid of. And so that if they do wander off or they're lost, if they go to a vet, they can get scanned and see who they belong to. If you scan something, and we have scans as well, we use scans in business to scan a piece of paper. You use a machine that takes an image of something else. You can have a scan if you go to the hospital. Maybe they want to see if your bone is really broken. An MRA is a scan where your whole body goes into a machine. That's kind of scary. Or an X-ray is a type of a scan. It's looking inside your body with some radiology, with some technology that way. So we already scanned him. Unfortunately, this little dog doesn't have a microchip. I'm not sure I want to microchip my pet, but that's up to you guys, whatever you want to do. Our dog definitely had a dog collar with a lot of information on it, even had his name on there, because sometimes he would run off. He would always come home after he hunted for a while, but we worried about him getting lost and we wanted him home. You always want to identify or have some sort of identification on your pet.
Right. Of course, when I was a kid, of course, dogs had collars, as you said, and then on the collar, you had dog tags, which had information printed on them, the name of the dog, the phone number you should call, also whether or not it has been vaccinated for rabies or whatever, so that people can help you return your pet back home after they run loose or they get away or whatever. Fred always did that. Our dog Fred always tried to run away, so we always had to go look for that little stinker. But in any case here, Ms. Lynn has another question here. What kind of health checks does he need? Okay, so yeah, what kind of diseases are you going to check for? Rabies, a cold, COVID-19? Yeah, that's the kind of question she's asking here.
Yeah, those tests include things like heartworm. That's an animal disease. Parasites can affect people and animals, but animals more often. Although I understand they're testing now to see if cancer could be caused by parasites. So these are just two of the tests that the doctor, the vet, might take out or go ahead and test the pet for. He also said the tests are important, but they also need initial vaccinations. If it's a stray, they don't know what the dog has been vaccinated with. Sadly, he'll probably get too many vaccinations after this visit, which isn't good for animals either. Initial means at first, right? My initial impression of Tom was, he was very tall. And then I got to know him and I didn't notice how tall he was
anymore.
And
he got short, yeah.
Yeah, he changed. Or my initial impression of my boss was someone that was very patient and would be pleasant to work for. And then I found out later that wasn't true. My boss wasn't very patient. I'm kidding. This is an example. So initial just means at first. when I initially arrived in Taiwan, I didn't like the taste of even soy sauce very much. And now I love it. I would like to drink soy sauce all the time.
Right. So initial just means the vaccinations they'll give you at the beginning. And your initials could be the letters of the first parts of your name, your first name, your middle name, and your last name. If your name is Roger, William, Johnson, your initials would be RWJ. Okay, those would be your initials. But here, this is the vaccinations they'll give the animal at first. And Ms. Lin has another question.
Oh, I wanted to mention, when you talk about your name initials, that's a noun, initials. But here we're using it as an adjective.
Okay, exactly. Okay, so these are the initial vaccinations. And again, Ms. Lin has a question. How much would that cost for the full exam, for the heartworm, the parasites, the vaccinations? I'm willing to cover the expenses. I'm going to be a good citizen here. I'm going to help out this animal even though I don't get anything in return. I'm just being a good citizen. And Dr. Zhang says, well, the basic checkup and treatment will cost around 3,000 NT dollars. We can also help you get in touch with a local rescue group. So if you're willing to pay, you can fork out 3,000 NT dollars. That's what it's going to cost you. I think Ms. Lin probably is okay with that.
Yeah. The thing I kept thinking, though, Tom, as I read this was, I hope she doesn't pay for all this medical help and attention and then have the dog go to the shelter and be put down because nobody wanted to adopt him.
That seemed like a waste of money.
It's a waste of money. So hopefully this dog is cute and a family comes along and wants to adopt him later. So she's a good person. She wants to pay for this dog to receive some medical treatment. And then she's going to foster the dog. But before that happens, Dr. Zhang says we can also help you get in touch with a local rescue group. A local rescue group would be a team of people who probably do a lot of volunteer work and try to help animals who are stray or no longer wanted by their families who probably initially had them. They take these dogs in and they feed and take care of them until someone can come along and hopefully adopt them.
Indeed, and I guess he's probably referring to the animal shelter. I've been to the shelter here in Taipei. I think it's out in Neihu or somewhere. I can't remember. It's right next to the river, but they have a lot of stray animals there, and I'm afraid a lot of them just aren't going to find homes. Hopefully they will. But in any case, that's an example of a local rescue group, an animal shelter. And Ms. Lin has another statement here that would be great. That's wonderful. Thank you. I don't mind fostering him for a while. If you foster an animal or a person, you just let them stay in your house, even though they're not related to you at all. You're just helping them out.
Yeah, usually it's short-term or temporary until a longer-term solution comes along, and that's adoption. Hopefully, this dog isn't ultimately put down. We use that phrase put down to talk about killing an animal who is stray and nobody knows who they belong to. And sometimes those shelters just get too crowded. It's very sad. So hopefully someone can get to that shelter in time. In the meantime, though, Ms. Lin's going to take care of that cute dog and foster him. Dr. Zhang wants to thank her for being so compassionate. She's sensitive about the dog and taking care of the dog. And I think we should take care of all the animals. That's what we're supposed to do as people. People like you, he says, make a real difference in the lives of stray animals. She sounds like she's a very good citizen.
And we should all follow her example. And now it's time to listen to our Chinese teacher, but stay tuned. We're going to come back with some useful expressions and a discussion question.
听众朋友大家好，我是安娜，我们又来到多益单元了，通常都是很生活化的一些主题，比如说我们今天就要来谈谈 puppy 小狗，不过不是你养的我养的那个小狗，而是流浪受伤的浪浪。这些毛小孩现在真的我们会觉得毛小孩其实就是我们的小孩，对不对？所以如果在路上真的有捡到这种流浪狗，不知道该怎么办好，标题当中最后一个字的 pup其实就是 puppy 啦 P-U-P-P-Y 就是小狗。那前面的 hurt 这个字本来就是动词啊，就是伤害嘛。hurt 三态都是同样一个不做变化的 hurt， 可是在这里其实是取它的 PP 就是被受到伤害的，就是受伤的。为什么特别谈这个字呢？因为在第一个 Miss Lin 啊，就是林小姐，因为她捡到一个受伤的流浪狗小朋友，那么她在第二句的最后一个字 injured 这个字本来是动词的使受伤，所以借它的 PP 过去分词过来也有受伤的形容词，跟我们刚标题当中看到的 hurt 都是一样的意思。所以林小姐在公园附近发现了这个小狗走路啊一拐一拐的，好像受伤了耶，直接带去给兽医看。那这个兽医呢就先检查一下，他看这个你知道这个是谁的狗吗？第一个兽医的第二句 belong to someone， 这里的片语我们把它抓出来， belong 就是属于，但是属于某人呢 to 再加上一个对象，所以我们通常说属于谁，通常会说 belong to someone。 你知道它属于谁吗？但我们中文不会这么说啊。你知道它有主人吗？当然不知道啊，就路上捡到的嘛，而且也没有带项圈啊。我们通常狗如果有养的话，上面会有项圈，可能会有主人的电话可以联络啊。那这个项圈呢，第二个林小姐这边的第二句话当中，我们看到的这个 collar C-O-L-L-A-R， 这个 collar 我们平常在讲衣服的时候会说是领子的意思，像比如说坐办公室的是 white collar 白领的，然后呢比较属于劳动的是 blue collar， 是比较属于蓝领的劳工阶级，这就是用 collar。 那在这里它指的是狗狗的项圈啦。那狗狗项圈身上有没有穿戴这个动词直接用 wear 就指的是已经穿戴好那个状态wear， 它没有穿戴的项圈啊，所以我也不知道它的 identification。 而且还有上网查一下有没有什么走失狗的这种贴文啊，也没有发现什么东西。那所以张医师呢就看了一下，他就先检查一下，哇，他的左后腿肿起来了耶，好像扭伤耶。扭伤英文怎么说啊？同样在第二个张医师的第二句，逗点前面有一个 sprain 这个扭到啊，动名词同一个字，不过还好是没有骨折啦。后面呢最后一个字的 fracture 有时候我们会听到 bone fracture， 就是特别讲骨折，因为 fracture 本身有断裂的意思，水管断掉，组织一群人啊组织的一个分裂 fracture 其实都可以用这个字。它特别如果把 bone fracture 两个字讲出来就是骨折，所以当然需要治疗啦 treatment。 那第三个林小姐就讲到说，这样子的话，那不晓得这小狗是不是要接种疫苗啊，会不会有什么传染病啊？疫苗呢的接种就是被打疫苗，因为所谓的第三个林小姐第一句的 get vaccinate 就是接种疫苗，就是帮人家打疫苗注射疫苗的意思，所以我们通常都会用被动啦。同样这边第三个林小姐第二句最后一个字的 contagious 这个形容词是接触传染的，不晓得有没有什么传染病会传染哦。所以当然就是疫苗还是尽量是接种啦，因为毕竟这个是一种标准程序嘛。第三个张医师的第一句讲到一个 standard procedure， 对，标准程序呢还是要接种疫苗，尤其是同样这句话 stray animals 流浪动物，我们还是要给它接种疫苗。 stray 就有迷途迷路的意思。而且呢接着第三个张医师的第二句他还扫描咯，扫描过其实身上是没有植晶片的，那植晶片的扫描这个动词直接真的用 scan 就可以了。而晶片呢不只是 chip， 是很小很小的晶片植入在他的身体里面，所以是 microchip， 逗点前面 microchip。 那第四个林小姐就问到了，那这样子的话可能就是要做一些健康检查，对不对？健康检查这个时候其实当然检查我们会用 exam 嘛，但是通常会直接说 health check 一下 health check 就可以了。那医生就会给他做全面的检查，然后会做一些寄生虫的检测啊，甚至是初步的疫苗。第四个张医师的第二句这个地方，我们特别把这个寄生虫的检测，寄生虫这个字抓出来 parasite 叫做寄生虫，这个字其实可以拆开咯，因为前面的 para 这个字首有旁边的意思，那后面这个 side 其实是 sit 就是坐在旁边的人，所以你不管到哪里他就坐在你旁边。 它叫做寄生虫parasites， 所以要做寄生虫检查。如果真的有寄生虫要打虫，对不对？那做这些检查接种疫苗，那当然要钱啊。不过还好第5个 Miss Lin 啊，第5个林小姐这边讲，她说她愿意 cover 这些 expenses， 真的蛮好心的啊。医生就报价啦，差不多啊多少钱啦。甚至第6个林小姐她说，如果真的找不到的话，我还愿意暂时收养她一下。这个暂时收养她，第6个林小姐动词的 foster 可以特别把它抓出来。这个代养的意思啊，就是一段时间的稍微的这个代养，他不是法定的代理人哦，所以如果有一些人的状况的话，我们会有在寄养家庭，就叫做 foster family， 对不对？所以这个字可以把它特别的抓出来。好，我们多益单元明天还会继续啊，针对这个流浪的这个毛小孩，还会有什么其他的内容呢？我们明天见咯，我是安娜，拜拜。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. We've got some useful expressions here about how to inquire about services. And remember, Ms. Lin was doing that. She went to the veterinary clinic and she was asking them about their services because she found a stray dog and she wanted to help out. So here's something you can use here. Number 1, what is number 1 here?
How much does it cost for an overnight stay at this hotel? So, of course, this person's actually on site at a hotel. Maybe they didn't have enough time to make an advance reservation, which is actually really kind of convenient nowadays online. You could ask how much does it cost for an overnight stay. You could ask about different rooms. How much is the standard room? How much is your queen size bed? Or how much is your king sized bed? And if you really are rolling in dough, which means you're really rich, D-O-U-G-H, dough. If you're rolling in dough, you might ask about the suite or the presidential suite.
Right. So, yeah, how much does it cost? How much do you charge for a room here at this hotel? Here's another question you could ask. Could you provide a quotation for a group booking for 20 people? So we've got a party of 20 people. We want to have a party or a meal together. So could you tell us how much it's going to cost, okay? Can you provide a quotation? A quotation usually is an estimate. It's not an exact figure because, of course, when you actually come for the meal, you might order more booze or beer than you originally planned to, so the price might change. But yeah, more or less, what's the price going to be? Can you give us a quotation?
Here's one for software for you out there that are looking into new software. Do you offer a trial period for your software? I like to try software out before I put some money down for software. You never know if it's going to have the features that you need. So sometimes I'll offer maybe a free demo, a free trial period before you have to actually pay with your credit card. They might take your credit card information, and then once that free trial period is over, maybe it's a week, a month's kind of long, but a week, then they'll charge your card. Or maybe you want to say, do you offer technical support or training for this software? There are lots of things that you might need help with, or just need to find out what you're getting for your money.
Okay, so those are some expressions about inquiring about services. Here's our discussion question now. The question is, if you found a lost animal, what would you do?
Well, I'm allergic to animals with fur. So even though I would love to take them home with me, I cannot. I would just be, I would have to go to the hospital. I can't breathe if I'm around dogs or cats for very long. I love them both, but I love dogs more. If I found an animal, I would go home and make a poster, and I'd put a picture of the animal up, and I'd post notices around my neighborhood. But then I would try to find someone in my building who could take the animal for a day or two. Longer than that, I would probably take the animal to a shelter.
Well, we've got lots of stray cats around my house. And, of course, we've had stray cats there all throughout the years. And we generally feed them. That's what we do. Of course, we know they don't have owners, so of course we need to help them out. But we got to be careful if you're going to feed stray animals. Don't leave the food out there. Okay, take it back after the cats have finished it because guess what? You're going to attract lots of rats that way. So don't do that. But in any case here, yeah, just feed them and take the food back in. Of course, cats don't finish everything. They're very finicky. Okay.
Now, if it's a dog, it will eat everything.
Oh, they chow it down. They're gluttons. Okay, that brings us to the end of our lesson for today. Thanks for joining us. But next time, we've got sort of a flyer here, an announcement that's trying to find a home for a stray dog. We'll find out what that is all about in our next program. But that's it for today. So thanks for joining us, and please join us again next time. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye.
Bye.